Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. Okay, I'll admit it right up front, I am not a golfer. I've never played a round of golf in my life, and at my age I probably never will. It's a sport that doesn't race my motor, invented by a nation that thinks bagpipes make music. But I do have a number of friends who play golf. So there was much conversation over the passing of Arnold Palmer on September 25, 2016, at 87 years of age. So much so that one of them asked me to comment on this historic event in one of my TV presentations. So here goes. Like me, even my non-golfing friends recognize Arnold Palmer as arguably the most famous of all gifted golfers. He won more than 90 tournaments, including the Masters 4 times, the US Open in 1960, the British Open in 61 and 62. So good was he at his game that he became known as the King of Golf. The King. The King was respected not only for his game of golf, but also as a wholesome person, the kind you'd love to have for a neighbor. He was a good man in the non-theological sense of that term. From David Whiteley of the Orlando Sentinel, I learned some interesting facts about Palmer. Arnold met his first wife, Winnie, on a Tuesday and asked her to marry him 4 days later. His would-be father-in-law boycotted the wedding because he doubted Palmer could make enough to support the family. But Arnold and Winnie were married for 45 years until her death in 1999. The King of Golf gave generously to charity and devoted much effort to raising funds for charitable causes. The Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children in Orlando, for example, is ranked among best children's hospitals in the country and by U.S. News and World Report. Palmer was awarded a Congressional Gold Medal and a Presidential Medal of Freedom, the only sports figure to have both. He designed more than 300 golf courses around the world, and 13 streets are named after him. After a lifetime of signing autographs for nothing, he finally charged for his signature one year during the Bay Hill tournament, when his grandchildren told him business was slow at their lemonade stand. Palmer agreed to sign for anyone who'd buy a $1.50 glass of lemonade. The kids made a quick $50 before running out of their product. Yes, Arnold Palmer was known and loved as the King of Golf. Now, if we want to talk about real kings, how about King Louis XIV of France, who reigned for 75 years from 1643 until 1715? France was then at the center of the civilized world. The French monarchy was supreme in Europe. In fact, anywhere there, the king meant the King of France. In fact, the Sun King, as he is called himself, refused to be grouped with other kings under the term Their Majesties, as this might suggest an inequality which did not exist, he said. King Louis XIV believed that he had absolute power over the state as a direct representative of God on earth. L'État, c'est moi. I am the state, he declared. But he was no angel. The first 9 children Louis XIV sired after his marriage were illegitimate. Worse, in 1685, he revoked the Edict of Nantes, which had granted religious freedom to Protestants. And this resulted in a period of savage persecution and the loss of 250,000 fine French citizens to friendly Protestant nations. On his deathbed, he had the audacity to declare, "God should not forget what I have done for him." Back to Arnold Palmer now. We show respect for his life and accomplishments when we call him the King. But I must confess to being shocked when I saw the cover of Sports Illustrated, referring to the greatest of golfers as the King of Kings. Now, I'm sorry, folks, but there's only one who holds that title. Jesus, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. The Bible uses this term several times, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. It means that in the end all other rulers will be conquered or abolished, and he alone will reign supreme as King and Lord of all the earth. There is no power, no king, and no lord who can oppose him and win. There is no higher authority. His reign over all things will be absolute and inviolable. He is far above all rule and authority and power and dominion. The Apostle Paul informed the church in Philippi, God exalted Jesus to the highest place and gave him the name that is above every name, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue acknowledge that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. The Bible is clear. It's appointed for mortals to die once, and after that the judgment. The bombastic French king and the King of Golf have gone the way of all flesh. But the King of Kings lives forever, and the Bible warns everyone, prepare to meet your God. Even though Jesus came into this world to die for sinners, his death will not save us unless we accept it. No medicine will restore your health unless you take it. Are you prepared to meet the King of Kings? Thank you for tuning in once again to Village Church Connections.